My name is Meredith Nettles. I am American. I live in New York City. I am a geologist. I work as a professor at Columbia University in New York City. For my job, I teach classes at the university and I work as a research scientist. I study earthquakes and glaciers and the structure of the inside of the earth, the part that we cannot see with our eyes standing on the surface of the earth. I am in Sisimiut now to study Greenlandic. I'm taking a course at the Language Center here in Sisimiut. But I first came to Greenland 8 years ago in 2006 because my colleagues and I had just discovered a new kind of earthquakes, a special kind of earthquakes that happens mostly in Greenland, sometimes in Antarctica, but mostly in Greenland. And we did not know what was causing the earthquakes. We could record them on seismographs around the world, but we needed more information. So I came to Greenland to make some measurements. We came first to Tasiilaq to make some measurements on a very large glacier in East Greenland, Helheim Glacier, so that we could understand more about the earthquakes. And we have learned a lot from that work, and we see now that those special earthquakes come from very large calving events. That is, when a new iceberg is born, comes from a large glacier, and when that happens, we can have shaking in the earth that is as big as from regular earthquakes that are quite big, around magnitude 5. So that is why I first came to Greenland, and now I have been working in Greenland for 8 years with some different projects, and this summer in June and July I was up on the inland ice, all the way up in the middle of the ice sheet, to install some seismic stations so that we can learn more about the rocks that are underneath the ice. There are 3 kilometers of ice on top of Greenland in the middle of the ice sheet. If you stand right in the middle of the ice sheet, then underneath your feet, before you come to the first rock, you have 3 kilometers of ice. And so we do not know very much about those rocks, but we can start to see them by looking at earthquake signals. So that's a project that I'm working on now. Why am I studying the Greenlandic language? Ever since I first came to Greenland, I really wanted to learn and understand the language. I really like Greenland very much. It's a beautiful place, and the people in Greenland are very nice, and I would like to be able to understand and speak more with them. So I first studied Greenlandic using an online class, self-study class, and now I have the chance to come to Sisimiut to study the second course of Greenlandic. So that's what I'm doing here now, and I really enjoy that. I like the language very much. When I was first studying in school, I did not think that someday I would be in Greenland or studying the language. And actually, I did not think that I would be a geologist. When I finished high school, which is a bit different in the United States, we just take a general course of studies in high school. We don't choose a specific subject. We choose that later in college at the university. So when I went to the university, I studied politics, political science. But after 2 or 3 years in the university, I thought that, well, I think this is very interesting to study politics, but I do not think I want to keep working on this subject very much in the future. But I took one course at the university about geophysics, using physics to study the Earth, and I thought that was very interesting. So I asked the teachers, the professors in that subject, if they had any job I could help with during the summertime, and I was able to work as an assistant in the group of researchers that studies earthquakes. And I really liked that job, so I decided to continue with geology instead of with politics and government. And I'm very happy that I did study the government, the politics, but I'm also very happy that I found that I liked geology and physics more. Because I had studied politics instead of natural science, I needed to have some more background before I could continue. I was able to continue working as an assistant to the group that studies earthquakes, and at the same time I studied more at the university and took some more classes in physics and mathematics, because I knew that I would need those subjects, need that information to continue. And when I had finished with those basic courses, then I could continue to higher studies, first to a master's degree, and then finally to a PhD. So that's a lot of years in school, but the last part is more like being an apprentice than just sitting in a lecture and repeating what the teacher has said. You really get to do your own work and begin to find out new things that nobody else knows. And the reason that I think my job is exciting and interesting is that I'm always working to learn new things that we don't understand, that nobody understands, and with those basic tools from mathematics and physics, we can come farther and learn more about how the Earth works. And sometimes it comes in small steps, and sometimes we find something completely new, like the earthquakes at the glaciers. And that's very exciting, to learn something new. I also like the teaching part of my job because I'm helping other people learn something new. It's new for them, maybe not new for me, but they can learn that, and then they have the chance to find something new. I think it was very good for me that I studied political science, which was more, in a way, somewhere between humanities, like English or history, and natural science. And one thing that has been very useful for me is that we learned and practiced a lot how you take different pieces of information and put them together to understand something new, and how you make an argument about what you have learned, how you interpret that information. And that is what we do all the time in natural science. So those skills are very useful, I think, in every kind of work.